Hello and welcome back to the Estate Agency podcast. So we have royalty today with us. We have a man who has been described as the king of referrals. He is the CEO of HOA.com and he's closed over 500 million in referral driven sales and helped him teach over 250,000 estate agents to have a thriving business. So welcome to the podcast, Mr. Brandon Barham. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure. It's all ours. So, talk me through this journey because obviously one day you don't just wake up as the king of referrals, and you obviously talk
Yeah.
about your journey from sort of being a single dad with a lower income to kind of where you are now. So, give me the snapshot. How does that happen?
Well, it all started back in college. I found out in college that you don't have to be married to have a kid. And so at 22, I was a dad, and at 24, I had full custody of my son. And I was making $20,000 a year at that point. So once I got custody, I wasn't making enough to cover my mortgage and the daycare bills. And so I had to make a change. And I ended up getting into the mortgage industry. And I had somebody mentor me in the art and science of what I now call raving referrals. And I was able to 10x my income from 20,000 a year to $200,000 a year in just 18 months. And ever since then, I've been building tech platforms to help other people really unlock the power of referrals in their business and create that financial freedom they desire and deserve.
Right. So let's start a glass half full if that's okay. So what are some of the mistakes you see agents make when it comes to referral business? Because obviously it can work very well. You've shown it can work very well. So what are some of the mistakes that agents make that you see day in, day out?
I think the number one thing is that agents give out a ton of referrals and they don't get many back. And one of the things that we coach and guide them to do is how to turn their vendors into proactive partners, right? When you think about it, as an estate agent, you're giving referrals to the painter, the plumber, the electrician, the home inspector, the mortgage lender, the insurance agent, the moving company. All of these people are feasting off of the business that you're giving them. And the question is, what are they giving you back? And as you take an analysis and kind of audit your partnerships, if you find that they're really not proactively promoting you, it may be time to shift some of the people that you're choosing to do business with and give business to. So, what we teach is something called the referral partner blueprint. And it's real simple, Chris. I mean, once you identify who it is that you want to be partnering with, or maybe that you're already giving business to, we focus on three things. Number one, who are you already giving referrals to? And you'd like to start getting more referrals back from them. Number two, who are you receiving referrals from? And you'd like to double, triple, or maybe 10x the number of referrals that you're already receiving from that person. And then number three, who do you know, like, and trust that you would refer business to? They're already serving homeowners every day, but you've just never formalized a referral partnership. So it's pretty simple. You call them up and you say, hey, I've realized I have a lot of clients that can use your services. And I'd love to sit down with you and discuss creating a formal referral partnership where we do more business together. Is that something you'd be interested in? And you're pretty much going to get 100% yes on that question.
And how do you balance that? Because in the UK, and we're very general here, because I'm talking for X amount of million people and thousands of estate agents. Generally, there's more of a monetary trade there as opposed to a referral trade. So lots of agents will have a financial services partner, for example, a solicitor partner, for example, but that will just kind of be them passing them business and they get a couple of £100 at the end of the month or some sort of income off the back of it. Not often is there a setup where they kind of get an instruction off the back of it or a lead off the back of it or speak to my friend Paul, he's looking to sell sort of thing. So how do you differentiate between and how do you set yourself up with regard to a right way and a wrong way potentially of making sure you get the most return on that?
Yeah, you bet. So in some cases, you may actually want to have what we call referral reward agreement, right? Where I'm going to refer business to you and you're going to compensate me on that client. In many cases, real estate agents aren't worried about the income that they're going to get from an individual referral. It's more about the referrals they can receive from that person, right? If you focus on partnering with professionals, and with companies that are serving homeowners every day, they're out there having conversations. Maybe they're doing a construction project, kitchen and bath remodel, and the person is doing that because they're getting ready to sell the house. What you want to do is start enrolling scouts out there looking for business for you. And you essentially sit down with those people and say, listen, I can give you a lot of business, but I'm only choosing to do business with people that are going to be cross referring and cross promoting me. So we've actually built a community co-marketing engine at HOA.com where it helps all of your partners proactively promote. So you upload your homeowner database. Our system sends a monthly home valuation report. We call it a home safe report. And it's not only how much your house is worth, but it's everything about your house in one location, including your trusted team. So if you're the estate agent, you include your painter, your plumber, your home inspector on your profile and on that report. So the homeowners get that value every month. And when your partners send that report to the homeowners they serve, they're seeing you as the estate agent that's being recommended by your trusted partner.
And how do you manage that relationship going forward? I'm being very pessimistic here, so apologies in advance. It's the British
Okay.
in me. Let's say, for example, we have a relationship with a plumber, for example, and I'm
Right.
passing business over that plumber left, right, and centre because I'm going to see a lot of properties, but it's been months, weeks, 6 months, a year, whatever it may be, before they've actually passed anything back. Do you have almost like I don't say like a minimum standard, but do you get to the point where you go, actually, I'm passing you a lot more than you're passing back this way. There's going to be someone better out there for me and a better fit.
Yeah, so I recommend that you have quarterly meetups with your partners and just say, hey, I want to just meet with you once a quarter for 30 minutes and let's go through a strategy session and really evaluate how our partnership is working for both of us. And you need to be tracking the referrals that you give and receive. That's a gap for a lot of people. We have a referral score quiz. There's 10 referral best practices. You can go to agentreferralquiz.com and take that self-assessment. It takes about 60 seconds. And what most people see is there's some blind spots in their business. When it comes to the best practices of referrals, there's some things they do really well, and there's some other things that just aren't on their radar. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So the beauty of that is in 60 seconds, you can make quick adjustments to your business to start getting more referrals. But you want to sit down with your partners every 90 days and just say, hey, I've seen that I sent you 5 referrals this quarter and I haven't seen any coming back from you. Are you seeing any opportunities where you could refer me? Do you have any clients right now that are thinking about listing or buying homes? And are you working with any real estate investors that might be looking to purchase more properties here in the market I serve?
Mm. So I think certainly from my experience, sort of recommendation and referral business is the best type of business because you've kind of got one foot inside the front door already. If their mum's recommended you to them or their favorite painter and decorator or their plumber has recommended you to them, it's like you're kind of on, plus a couple of points already before you even walk to the front door. It's yours to lose because you have got that kind of track record already.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. The reality is the research shows that when somebody's referred to you, they're 400% more likely to hire you than if they just come on an online lead or maybe they see you on social media. Because as human beings, again, the research shows 90% of human beings trust a recommendation from someone we know. And so if your mom or your client says, hey, you've got to go meet this person, see this movie, go to this restaurant, whatever it is, you're likely to trust their recommendation. And so if a client gets referred to you, they're 4 times more likely to hire you because the trust is already in existence and it gets transferred from that other person to you before you even get on the phone with them.
So let's imagine that you are launching an estate agency business today and you're from a cold start. So you've got, relative connections, but not sort of massive connections in the local area. Where would you
Yeah.
start with sort of weaving that web of connections in that local area? Where would you start off from a cold start?
Yeah, so if I relocated 10 years ago, I moved from Portland, Oregon to Phoenix, Arizona. When I moved here, I knew no one. So what did I do? I started asking people for recommendations, right? If you're a real estate agent, you're moving into a new area, you might work with a title insurance company or an estate, a legal firm that is in the market, right? Because they're highly trusted professionals. If they make a recommendation and you're calling that new person saying that Anthony Edwards, the attorney, recommended I connect with you, that person's going to be like, oh, Anthony's a solid man. If he recommended me, right, there's a reason to meet. So I like to use that strategy and then sit down with people, ask them who they recommend. You can always go to networking events to meet people if you're new to an area and you don't know anyone. But it's about making your list and really identifying who are the people that you want to partner with. And in all of the major services that you're going to be referring business to, you're going to have clients that need help. with various things. And you should have a strategic plan about who you're recommending and ensure that they're recommending you back.
I really like that. So you mentioned networking there. So I have a what's what I'm looking for? I don't say fear is networking is the wrong word, but I have a bit of a pet hate of networking.
Yeah.
My worst nightmare is going to a networking event and walking up to strangers and going, "Hi, what do you do?" And they go, "Oh, I'm in so and so," and I'm like, "Not interested." On to the next person. "Hi, what do you do?" And
Yeah,
kind of get,
right.
or it's like people going around skimming, saying,
Absolutely.
"Are you of interest?" "No, you're not." Next person, "Are you of interest?" "No, you're not." And almost go, "Great, you're an estate agent. Here's my card, and let's have a chat." I have like nightmares about that sort of thing. It's one of the reasons I
Yeah,
post so much on social media is I don't really need to introduce myself that much at networking events because hopefully they
absolutely.
know who I am when I walk in the room. So
Right.
that's kind of my absolute nightmare. So what do you think that people should be doing at networking events and what
Yeah.
shouldn't they be doing at networking events to make sure they get the most of it?
Absolutely. Well, full disclosure, Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI, wrote the foreword for my new book, Raving Referrals for Real Estate Agents. So we're a big fan of BNI. And whatever networking event that you're going to, number one, you should start with a plan, right? Before you walk in the door. And in the book, I give you 10 steps on number one, how to get in the right mindset so that you walk in with confidence. You have a plan, you have a strategy. Number two, meet the people that are hosting the event. If you're there to meet a specific type of person, like if you're just going and stumbling around and introducing yourself to strangers, that sucks. Like, no wonder you feel anxious inside. That's awful, right? What I do is number one, I invite a buddy. I try never to go to a networking event alone. I always want to invite somebody to work the room with me. Number two, I have a plan of action of who I want to meet at the event. Let's say I'm looking for a CPA or a financial advisor or maybe an estate planning attorney, a real estate attorney, whatever the case may be. I've got a plan of who I'm hoping to meet by going to that event. Then I introduce myself to the event host, the event organizer. Why? Because they know everybody in the room. And their job is to create connections. And so if you introduce yourself to them and let them know, I'm looking for a great estate attorney that I can refer my clients and customers to, then what's going to happen is if that person is in the room, they're going to know and they're going to make an introduction. And now instead of blindly bumbling around and pitch slapping people with your card and what you do, you're immediately laser targeted in on exactly who you're looking to meet. And now you feel confident and comfortable having the conversation because you've got a strategy, you've got a plan, and you get introduced to the right people in the room.
It's funny, you know, we have those kind of like the penny drops moments. So one of my good friends, who actually isn't an estate agent, so I do have friends outside the property world. He goes to a lot of tech networking events, and he's like, "I love networking. Networking is amazing. I always get loads of business from it. I love everyone there. I love the socialing. I like the drinking. I like all that sort of stuff." And
Yeah.
he's literally does exactly what you've just said there. He like researches who's going to be there, the particular one, two, three, four, five people he actually wants to have a conversation with. He'll do a lot of research on them. So when he goes to talk to them, he's like, "I know you do this business. I know you got this pain point. This is what I do. You got this person in common," and therefore he's really well set up in advance for that. So that's probably the difference between why he loves it and I'm not so loving of it.
Well, and it's about quality, not quantity.
Mm.
If you walk out of a networking event and you've got one golden connection, like yesterday, I was on a Zoom session and I was meeting a woman and she has over 1 million real estate agents between her two communities. Well, that's a golden connection. Now, I didn't meet her in a networking event, right? But somebody referred her and introduced me to her, and now we're connected and now we're strategizing how to help more agents around the world. But that's what you're looking for, right? Is to have a strategy and a plan, and it's about quality. If you've got one golden connection that can make a difference in your business, that time was well spent. But to your point, research the people that are putting on the event, right? If you introduce yourself to them and say, hey, I really love the work that you're doing with Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and that you're mentoring our next generation, that's going to stand out because you've already done the research. So your status is elevating in their mind. And then when they make that introduction and referral, they're doing it with passion and persistence. And so it just really changes the game altogether.
And what's the best way to ask for a referral or a recommendation? Because obviously no one wants to come across as
Yeah,
like desperate or needy. So is there a particular
right.
sort of formula or way of doing it that's best practice?
I do. I teach the art of the ask, and there's 3 steps to the art of the ask. Number one, you want to set the stage. Number two, listen for the referral triggers. And then number three, you're going to ASK to GET at the right time in the right way. So let me unpack that for you. And the art of the ask, you should be comfortable and confident asking for referrals. And this is a major gap for a lot of estate agents because they don't feel that way. So imagine this. I'm going to help you reframe the entire conversation. You've got a client, they just choose to list their home with you. So you're signing the agreement, you're sitting down with them, the paper's done, the deal is done. You've already outlined the whole process of how you're going to list and sell their home for the most money in the least amount of time. Now, what you want to do before you let them leave that room is say, before I let you go, is it okay if I ask you for a favor? They'll always say yes, or maybe tell me more. And then what you want to do is you say, I love helping families like you find your dream home. Or if you're into investment properties, I love helping real estate investors find profitable cash flowing properties, right? Whatever that ideal client is that you're looking to serve. And I'm so committed to wowing you with the service that I provide that I think you're going to be blown away. And my request is that once I've proven myself to you and given you a 5-star experience, would it be okay if I ask you for a referral or a testimonial? And what you'll find is you'll get 100% of people that say yes. Because, Chris, what are you really saying in that moment? You're saying, I'm going to do a great job for you, which is what they want to hear, music to their ears. And once I've proven myself, if I do a great job, I'd like to ask you for referrals. Would that be okay? If I said that to you, Chris, how would you feel about that?
I'm like, yeah, of course, no problem.
And that's the answer that you're going to get 100% of the time. So that's setting the stage. Now, you will actually get some referrals right then because some people are going to say, well, Chris, now that you say that, I've got a brother, sister, cousin, aunt, client, coworker that is looking to buy right now. And so I'm just going to connect you right now. Fantastic. Now you're winning from day one. But setting the stage is about planting seeds for the future. Now you're serving that client. You're incredibly communicative. You're impressing them with your professionalism. And so now what we're looking for, we've set the stage in step one. Now we're listening for the referral triggers. And the referral triggers is basically thank you. Wow. An expression of appreciation. Chris, you're amazing. You are so good at follow up and communication. I really appreciate you. Okay. So you're listening for that wow moment and you really want to intentionally create it within the service that you provide so that they're in the highest peak state of referrals. Once you hear that, they're in a peak state. Wow, Chris, this is amazing. You are awesome. You rock. Then what you do is you ASK to GET. I'm so glad to hear that. That's literally what we teach you to say. I'm so glad to hear you say that. I love helping people like you. And remember when we first started working together, I told you I was going to create a 5-star experience and that you would be wowed and thrilled with the service I provide. Well, now that you are, I'd love to ask, number one, would you do a quick video testimonial? It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just on your phone, 30, 60 seconds of the value that I've added to you and what the experience has been like for you. And then number two, I'm looking to take on a few more clients. So if you know any families that are thinking about listing their home, I would love to meet with them, do a comparative market analysis, and see if we can help them the way I've helped you. How does that sound?
That sounds very good.
So you've set the stage, you've listened for the referral triggers, and now you're asking at the right time in the right way and all through the process. It's not about you. You're not asking for anything. It's all about them. And the mindset that you come to the conversation with is serve, don't sell. When you're in sales mode, when you're thinking about the money that you're going to make and you're focused on your commissions, you stink like commission breath, right? People can smell it on you. But when you're focused on the other person and delivering a delightful experience, they can feel that as well. And that's when they rave about you. That's when we create raving referrals.
And you kind of talked about sort of the wow moments. I guess that every agent out there should be reviewing their sales and listing process from start to finish and go, actually, where can I sprinkle some glitter on this process so that there are
That's
those
right.
wow moments, whether that's when they move in and there's a welcome gift or whatever stage it may be. So therefore you kind of know that, or your team know as well, that when that sort of magic moment happens, that's kind of a great time to kind of strike sounds a bit harsh, but kind of a move in and say, actually, this is remember when we said 6 weeks ago that you'd do recommendations for ourselves? Well, now we're kind of going to cash that in. So I guess you need to look at your processes to make sure you've got those moments in place.
Absolutely. And then how do you leverage that new client? Okay, so let's say you've just helped a family move in to a new home, a new community. They know no one. How do we create unity through community? I love the word community because it literally means come together as one. And the word unity is in community. You can't have community without unity, right? And so, what I love recommending to agents is that once you helped a client move in, ask for permission to promote them to all the neighbors. And basically, what you want to do is get a photo, a family photo of their family. And if they have kids and if they have pets like a dog, even better. And you send a postcard to every other neighbor in that neighborhood saying, please welcome to Finisterre or whatever the name of the community is, the Jones family. Steve, Tammy, Stuart, and Jilly, right? Or whatever the names are, and maybe their dog Rocco, whatever the names are, right? Now you get permission from them, you get a photo, you mail that postcard out to everyone in the neighborhood. The front is all about the family. Welcome them to the community. But the back of the postcard has your brand, your name, and you basically assert yourself as the referral champion, the person that's helping those families move into the neighborhood. And then what happens is, Steve is walking down the sidewalk one day with Bruno the dog, and somebody's going to introduce themselves. And you're actually creating community by connecting people because you're the real estate agent that made the difference. And you're helping them while also asserting yourself as the top trusted agent in that neighborhood.
So there's two things that kind of run through my mind when you say it. First of all, I really like that. But the things that I would kind of automatically think of are number one is you can have some sort of Facebook group or community group that you run yourself that you obviously then you can
Absolutely.
invite them into and say, and now you're part of the neighborhood, you can join our neighborhood group and obviously you're the admin of it, hopefully. And second thing is having some sort of welcome pack that says, welcome to the neighborhood. By the way, the local pizza place is here. Here's a QR code. Here's the local, Domino's, and here's the best cleaner, and here's the local plumber, and whatever it may be. So you've kind of got like a welcome to the community pack as well in the property.
That's correct. And what we do at HOA.com is we help you formalize your trusted team because as an agent, again, you have people that you refer to. We actually help you have them on your profile. So the top part of your HOA.com pro profile is all about you and who you help and how you help and your videos and your social links. But the bottom of the page is your trusted team. And that has links to all of your partners' profile pages. And then they're promoting you. So you're promoting them, they're promoting you. And what you're doing is you're equipping and empowering your clients with a team of people they can trust. Because again, we trust recommendations from people we know. If you've already vetted these people as trusted partners, then your clients are going to be happy because they don't have to search for people in this new community, in this new area where they know no one.
And how does this transport into the digital world? Because obviously, lots of this is kind of face-to-face networking, for example, and moving in packs and all that sort of stuff, which is very kind of real life stuff. How does this convert in sort of a digital age of things like social media? How do you have that sort of referral base and sort of network when it comes to the online world?
Yeah, so in the Referral Partner Blueprint, we teach 21 different co-marketing campaigns, ways that you can cross-promote each other. And some of those are on social media. I mean, we're doing one of them right now, Chris, right? This is a podcast interview. And one of the strategies that we recommend is if you do a podcast, then bring on your partners. Or if your partners do a podcast, ask them to interview you. Now, you don't have to have a podcast. You can go live on Facebook. You can do an interview with them and then just ask them questions to help elevate their expert authority. And they're going to do the same with you because when you endorse each other, you're both helping each other. We say 1 + 1 = 11. It's all about leverage and how do we get more people promoting us so that we're being seen by the families that are looking for the services we provide and we get to help more people and make more money.
Mm, love that. Love that a lot.
Now, the other thing that we do is we recommend that you actually do local community events. At HOA.com, again, in the US, 53% of all homes are in a homeowner association. And most people don't love their HOA, so we're out to revolutionize the industry. And one of the ways that we do that is by helping both the HOA boards and the real estate agents that serve those communities do fun, family forward community connection events. Whether it's I went to a community barbecue recently, and it was one of our estate agents that had put this on with a mortgage lender. And they had invited people out to the park on a Saturday afternoon, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Bring your meat, throw it on the grill, and we're going to have a party in the park. And it was so cool because it was by my house, so I got to go check it out. There were about 50 people there, and the dads are playing cornhole, which is just a fun game here in the States. I don't know if you have that there in the UK, but dads are playing cornhole. The kids are playing kickball. The moms were listening to music, just laughing, dancing, having fun, meeting each other. And the best part for me was I looked at every person in the park at one point. Not one person was on their cell phone.
Mm.
People were just getting connected in the real world. And the estate agent and the mortgage lender that put on the event were the kings and queens of the event. They got to meet everybody. Everybody got to meet them. And so they're building their database of connections and people that they're building relationships with. They're elevating their expert authority because people see them as a leader in the community, or what we call a community champion. And so it helps everybody win and have a great time. And when you stand out from the competition and you serve rather than always focus on selling, then what you find is it's a draw, like it's a pull strategy in marketing. So rather than pushing your marketing on people, you're attracting them in.
I really like that. I really like agents who proactively make themselves part of the community, whether that is organizing community events. Though I would specify here, obviously, you're in a very sunny part of the of America. In the
Yes.
UK, we get about a weekend for a barbecue every year, so we probably won't be having too many agent-led barbecues. It'd be more umbrellas than anything else. So I love the fact that agents do that sort of thing and make themselves part of the community, whether that's having a community-focused podcast, whether that's having doing community events, charity events and fundraising events, whether that's being connected to a local school and raising funds for that. I think that's really the way forward with a lot of agents.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we teach is be a charity champion. Find a charity or a cause that you're passionate about. If they're having an event, maybe they're doing a food drive, go to the community and let them know you're collecting cans for the local food bank, right? It helps you have a touch point that's not about real estate. People need to get who you are and what you're passionate about. So start sharing your causes and your charities that you love that light your fire. Integrate that into the story that you're telling about the communities that you serve, and it's going to attract people that love that about you, and then they're going to be the ones that proactively promote you and rave about you to everyone they know.
Yeah, it's so generally in the UK, estate agents don't have the best reputation in the grand scheme of things, but I don't think necessarily is deserved, but they don't have the best reputation generally. It's very hard to dislike the local person who helps with a charity and sponsors a school event and puts on events for the local kids and whatever. It's very hard to hate that person locally.
It is. And my question is, what do you want to be famous for? Right? You just mentioned that not everybody is viewed in the highest esteem. Well, that's a beautiful opportunity. Like if you're listening right now and that's the world that you live in, it's really easy to separate yourself out from the competition if everyone else is seen as a commodity. The question is, how do you build the heart share? How do you win the hearts that help win the minds? And that's consistent communication. I teach the fortune is in the follow up, right? If your brand isn't on other people's brain, then they're thinking about another agent. And when somebody happens to mention, hey, we're thinking about moving, right? You want everyone in your social sphere to be recommending you as the first person that they think of, and then they recommend anytime anyone's thinking about buying or selling real estate.
I really like that. You've dropped so much value and so much gold on the podcast. So thank you so much. Is there any other things you think agents should be doing to kind of stay on top of that game?
I think number one, have goals, right? You got to set goals. And ultimately, you got to make a list of the people that are most important to you. We recommend in our new book, Rating Referrals for Real Estate Agents, that you have a top 50 list. Who are the 50 most important people to your business, and reach out to them once a month, right? Have a conversation, have a connection point so that every month they're seeing about you. And you don't want to do a pop by with a jar of jam. Like that's old school. Add value. Show that you are an exceptional agent, that you are the master of the real estate industry in your local area, right? Provide value. I think video is a key. I'm actually starting a new video production company exclusively for the real estate industry to make video affordable and incredible for estate agents and help you increase your visibility so that you get more listings and make more money.
I love that. Brandon, you've been an absolutely amazing guest. Thank you so much for being so generous with your time. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.